panoramic views, it's the perfect setting for every occasion. Our cozy dining room with unique glass walls is witness to memorable occasions. Our wooden deck terrace is the ideal spot to hold informal meetings with friends. And our garden picnic tables are the perfect setting to contemplate the Palo Alto River, toast marshmallows over our natural fire pit, and enjoy a pleasant and casual time outdoors. At the Rock Boquete, we serve delicious food. We offer a good selection of wines and locally sourced craft beer, live music every Monday and our famous all-you-can-eat barbecue ribs Thursdays. Our social network is at The Rock Boquete. Please reserve your table by calling 720-2516. The Rock Boquete is much more than a restaurant. We are an unforgettable experience.
Good morning, Cherokee. You're listening and possibly watching this morning on the air with Cynthia and Barbara. I'm Cynthia. Good morning, Barbara.
Good morning, Cynthia.
On the air is broadcasting live on Radio Cherokee 103.3 FM.
Ciento Tres
Punto Tres. And viewing live on Radio Cherokee Boquete's Facebook page. Our talented engineer today is Bolivia. Hi, Bolivia.
Hola.
Buenos dias.
Yes.
And today, they always entertaining and interesting. Mike Hill is here with us, broadcasting from Alta Boquete on Radio Cherokee 103.3 FM. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, and thank you for that kind introduction. I'm not sure I'd agree with that, but okay.
Oh, I think everybody
Love having you. Everybody loves hearing
Thank
what
you.
you know. It's fabulous.
Barbara, before we talk to Mike a little, do you want to tell us a little bit of what's coming up this week? Because we always seem to push that in at the end, and we never have enough time for it. So
I'm telling you, I know I say this every week, and again, I'm going to say it's just so incredibly impressive, the creative and diverse opportunities that we have artistically in this community. Phenomenal. Starting this Friday, September 13th, that's Friday the 13th, is
that's a good luck day.
artistic exhibition at the library, and it's called Boquete, all capital letters, with its natural and urban landscapes, rivers, mountains, buildings, inhabitants, flowers, and fauna. Boquete inspired the pictorial creation of the Isaac Benitez Collective. Isaac Benitez was a major figure in abstract expressionism in Panama, and so the artists who did these creations were inspired by his work, and they will be showing at the library Friday, September 13th, starting at 4 and going through, I think it's October 19th. I saw it in Facebook. Then also, another September concert at the library will be performed by the Clarinon Chamber Music Group of Panama, a presentation of classical music and Panamanian music commemorating the 500th anniversary of Panama La Vieja. Saturday, September 21st. That's the following weekend from the artist exhibit at 5 o'clock at the library. Donation is $10, and tickets are available at mailboxes and Boquete Library.
And if you haven't gone to one of the concerts yet, be sure to go to them because they are phenomenal, and you are missing some wonderful, wonderful, amazing concerts if you don't go.
The library is just hopping. And so is the Tuesday Talks. Tomorrow, September 10th, we have Jesse, please forgive me, Yucastrina will give a talk about poisonous snakes located in Boquete in Panama.
I'll be there.
And Mike will be there, he's another amazing expert in poisonous snakes, as you may remember from our last radio show with him. With over 20 years living in Central America and doing field work identifying venomous and non-venomous snakes and working with colleagues in Costa Rica, Jess has many stories to tell about identifying new species and establishing their habitat in Panama and right here, specifically in Boquete. The following Tuesday, the 17th, the city of Boquete invites you, all of you, gringos and locals alike, to join them to learn about a citywide initiative that everyone can participate in one way or another. Be the first to learn about what it is. There will be a brief description followed by a question and answer period.
And that's also at the Tuesday Talks at the BCP.
That's right, September 17th. And finally, September 24th, the following Tuesday, Giving Back to Panama. How to weave charity into the Panama experience to give back, help others, and have fun. Rosalind Levy Batel is a 30-year expat resident of Panama, married to a Panamanian, and she has raised 3 children here in this country. She has been involved in many charitable organizations over the years and founded Promises Panama, a thrift shop whose proceeds benefit several charities in the Panama City area. She will share insider tips, resources, and contacts, and we'll have a question and answer session at the end of her talk. Then we are on to Tuesday Team Trivia at Tap Out Bar. Come join your friends and neighbors for a fun-filled evening of good eats, drinks, and a game of trivia. I don't see a date for this. It's a maximum of 8 players per team. We will find you a team if you need one. Don't worry, just show up and we'll get you settled. $3 at the door fee, which all goes to the local Boquete charities. Food and drinks are available for purchase, and winners receive a cash prize.
I believe that's an every Tuesday event.
Is it? Okay,
Yeah.
so every Tuesday, and tomorrow's the beginning of the Tuesdays in September. Or wait, is this the second Tuesday in September?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So every Tuesday at Tap Out. Remember Panama Black Weekend? Well, we're coming up to the 3rd version of the Panama Black Weekend on September 13th through the 15th, with 10 shopping centers nationwide already committed, including Albrook Mall, Soho Mall, Westland Mall, Los Pueblos Shopping Center, and Santiago Mall.
And I imagine some of the stores here will also do the Black Weekend.
There will be offers and discounts of up to 70%. The president of the Panamanian Association of Shopping Centers is Naji Duque. She said that the promotional campaign abroad did not have the same momentum as previous years, but tourists are expected to come to the country during the 3 days from Colombia, Central America, and the Caribbean. Armando Rodriguez, who is president of the Panamanian Hotel Association, said that an alliance was made with Copa Airlines to bring more tourists to the country and offer better hotel deals. In the first year of Panama Black Weekend, sales reached 90 million. And in 2018, they reached 101 million. Wow. Don't forget to stop by Romero and Boquete between 9 and 5 this coming Saturday for Buenos Vecinos during our upcoming food drive. Our locally based effort assists needy community families with monthly non-perishable food supplies. We will have samples of what you can buy at Romero to aid our work. And of course, financial assistance is always appreciated. Shop for food that you and we need and meet members of our team. And finally, there's a couple more things, but I'm going to stop at this next one, and then we'll finish the other list up later.
Sure.
Okay. Don't forget, this Sunday, September 15th, is the Dog Camp's very first huge Venta de Patio at El Cacho Gimnasia, which is the gymnasium right behind the Trapel station right in Bajo. The purpose of this fundraiser is to pay for the many expenses of rescuing abused and abandoned animals and for the purchase of our new facility. Please bring your gently used items for this Venta, either to Dog Camp's tent at the BCP, tomorrow's Tuesday market, or contact us for pickup. Not to Larry's anymore then?
I don't know. I don't know anything about Larry's.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And that'll do it for right now. We'll come back with two more exciting things coming later in the program.
And now, Mr. Mike Hill.
Thank you.
So tell us what's top on your list of interesting things to talk about this morning.
Oh my. Well, let me hit that dog camp thing this weekend, the sale.
Okay.
They asked me to help out with it, so I'm handling the sports things. And for divers who are interested, there are at least 3 buoyancy compensators, regulators. There's some wetsuit material, some fins, some masks. There's some other dive gear that will be very interesting. There's also a couple of sets of golf clubs. And I'm going to go after
Ladies
this.
clubs?
I don't know, but I'll find out for you.
Okay.
I golf military style, left, right, so I don't golf anymore. It's easier for me to hit a moving baseball than a sitting golf ball.
Yes. And I consider my short game only slightly worse than my long game. So,
There we go. So I will find out for you, but I'm also going after this show to look at some more items that will be available for sale, and
Great.
we'll have them this weekend.
nice.
So-
That's exciting.
Yeah, I'm hoping to find some fishing gear myself. So because the fishing here, as you know, we've talked about in the past, is really, really good. I've gone
You are an avid fisherman.
yes, I am.
So where do you like to fish?
Well, I love Petitee, but recently I've been going out of Boca Chica. I went Thursday of last week and Thursday the week before with some friends who hadn't been fishing much before. Went down there on Tuesday, found a guy with a panga, and just went out fishing inshore. 2 weeks ago, we caught, I want to say 7 or 8 Sierra mackerel, which are a very fun fighting, white-fleshed, delicious fish. Wonderful in tacos, wonderful on the grill, wonderful for sashimi. Beautiful, they're silver with bright gold spots all up and down the side, and some pretty ferocious teeth.
Wow.
And as my buddy was bringing in one fish, another fish hit mine. I was actually hoping he would catch this, but we got a 23-pound Kubera snapper, which is another very fun fighting and delicious fish.
So fun fighting means bringing them in.
Right, bring that they
Don't fight
fall
while you're
hard.
eating them.
No. They go down real easy. They pull very hard. The Sierra are built for speed. They're long and skinny like a torpedo. The snappers are built for strength. They have a broad tail. Every time that they clap the tail back and
Is it a
forth.
similar flesh to the red snapper?
Snappers, yeah.
So do you have some fillets you want to share with me?
I have some things in the freezer that I hadn't considered bringing this morning, but we'll keep that in mind for
Okay,
later.
Grilled red snapper or grilled any snapper to me is yum.
And then last Thursday when we went, we went out with several people. We got 9, between 6 of us, we got 9 Sierra. We threw back 2 Pacific Jack Crevalle, which are good fighters but not good meat. And then we lost a few fish, but had a good time. That was only 4 hours.
Wow.
I was just going to say, how long are you out for?
No, that was only 4 hours. So we left at 6:30. We got back at 10:30. So maybe 3.5 hours of fishing. You're fishing within 15 minutes.
Because you're doing it early morning.
Correct.
You
Right.
don't fish midday because
No, you can. It just depends.
you can, but
To me,
I used to go fishing in Lake Michigan with my dad when I was a little girl, and it was always dusk or dawn, one of the two for fishing on the lake, because he fished off the pier,
uh-huh. And
and we weren't allowed to talk because it would scare the fish away. It's very difficult when you're a little kid. You're not allowed to talk.
Just quietly.
Right.
I know.
Like
It'd be me and my brother who would love to fight with each other.
And no throwing rocks in the water.
So
Nothing.
what can you do? Nothing.
Sit here and watch,
Sit here and
Watch the
enjoy
water.
nature.
make little circles when the fish comes.
That's right. Well, dusk and dawn are very good times to fish. So the theory is that the predator eyes adapt quicker to changing light levels than the prey eyes. So the predators are more active at that time. But realistically, there's combinations of the tides, the position of the moon, the sun. Certain days are better for fishing than others. A lot of times before a storm comes in, the dropping barometer is much better for fishing than immediately following a storm when it's bright and sunny and the barometer is higher and it puts the fish down, so to speak. They just don't.
So if you know the storm's going to start at 10, you should go out there at 9?
Well, I would say like the next day, the previous day,
Like
rather.
we
The
had,
previous day,
The previous day.
like we had the storm last week and you went
Yeah.
out
the day before.
the day before. or
Well,
the
actually,
day
I went the day after.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
Because
but
it was Wednesday.
still good. But it was still good. I looked at the tables to see
Are
what a
there
good day
any
was.
fish that have been overfished around here? Because I know, like in Canada and places, there are some fish and some things that have been overfished and are now considered on the endangered species, and you're not allowed to fish for them anymore.
Well, there are some fish down here that are more susceptible to overfishing. As an example, Kubera snapper is the one that I caught. I have caught 4 in my life, and I've kept all 4. The next ones will probably get released because they take a long time to get to grow and to get to sexual maturity for reproduction. So there's an emphasis on releasing Kubera snapper. There's other fish down here, a rooster fish, which is a wonderful fighter. A 50-pound rooster fish will probably take you an hour to get in. The meat is not very good. They're in the same family as amberjack, which are delicious, and almaco jack and blue trevally, which are all delicious, but rooster fish are not. So the emphasis is catch and then let go for somebody else to catch. In Panama, it's actually illegal to keep marlin, sailfish, swordfish, or spearfish. Any billfish, it's actually illegal to keep them. Some people still do, but generally speaking, catch and release is the way to go there. On the other hand, if you catch a mahi-mahi or a dorado that say is, let's just say is 18, 24 inches long, somewhere in that range, that fish might only be a year old. They are the fastest growing fish in the world. There are so many of them. Keeping a smallish one like that is not a big deal.
So mahi-mahi is like a Hawaiian name for a
Hawaiian name
fish,
for Dorado,
or dorado.
which in
Okay.
Florida is also known as a dolphin fish.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
when I went to Hawaii and I thought I was getting this rare mahi-mahi fish that you couldn't get anywhere else, I was eating
you
something.
may have gotten the
Almost
very
anywhere.
exceedingly rare Hawaiian mahi-mahi.
Yeah, right.
Big week there.
Is there special fishing equipment you need to fish here besides a life jacket?
Everybody needs to have life preservers. That's true. I have my own. So whenever I go with somebody who doesn't have it, I just supply it. But typically, a good bait casting reel or conventional reel, which looks like a spool of thread on top of the fishing rod, exactly.
Mhm.
30-pound line is good, and there's different lures you can use to troll with. You can use heavier line, but that affects the action of the lure as you're trolling or the bait as you're fishing with it. And heavier line cuts through the water harder than thinner line, so it reduces the fight, so to speak. If you catch let's see, well, like my friend Randy, we went out of Petitsi back in May, and he hooked a 15-pound mahi-mahi on his fly rod. It took him 15 minutes to get in. It was wonderful. So lighter tackle means a better fight. It's also easier to lose the fish.
Right.
I
Is
have
a
been
fly
fishing a
rod the
million
one you go, you kind of go,
when you stand in the,
you stand in the water and throw in,
with the big
like the big-
boots.
Oh,
well,
like, what was the Robert Redford movie with
Mhm.
he was waiting and he was fly fishing.
fly fishing?
Right. So there's different techniques here. You can use live bait. You can use dead bait.
Well,
You-
I consider sushi bait.
So, well, fish are cut sushi, right?
Yeah.
You can use poppers, which is a big lure somewhere between 5 and 12 inches long, and you throw it out there and you jerk the rod back, and the face of the popper is cupped. So it sits on the water, and every time you jerk it, it splashes water forward. It looks like a struggling bait fish trying to get away. And a lot of times that drives fish crazy. Snappers will come from 80 to 100 feet deep up to the surface to grab it and then back down.
Oh, wow.
Same with roosterfish. You control with minnow imitations, which is a very easy way to fish and very productive. You can jig, which is something I'm trying to learn but not very good at, and that's where you just have basically a thin metal strip, maybe 5 to 8 inches long, with a couple hooks on it. Send it down to the bottom, reel it up a little bit, and then you can either just pull it up and down, or you can do speed jigging where you are constantly, jerk, 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 and you're reeling at the same time. So
Is that why they say there's a jerk on either side of a?
that's a
Fishing.
stupid saying.
So what does it do? It just catches the light?
Well, it's the action that makes it look like a fish that's wounded. Anything that looks different catches the fish's eye.
That makes sense.
So
My dad used to use cornmeal as bait. Cornmeal.
I've
Did he
used
make
pieces of
balls?
corn.
He'd make cornmeal as bait and cook it basically and roll it
Yeah.
up and use it as a bait. And my brother and I used to nibble on it.
Dough balls like that for catfish or for carp are very popular.
Yeah,
I've
I
caught
think it was trout we were getting
Yeah.
out of Lake Michigan.
trout will eat corn and other things. I caught out of California. I caught a sheep's head, which is a fish in the ocean, on a piece of Kentucky Fried Chicken. I mean,
Well, who could turn that down?
of course not.
Wow.
Finger licking good.
In fact, my dad, about 2 weeks after he passed away, we received in the mail, my mom received in the mail, noticing that he had caught the largest fish the year before. Out of Lake Michigan.
When he missed
Oh,
that.
yeah. But he probably knew it,
Yeah.
What kind of license do you need here to fish?
My understanding is you do not need a license, but the boats have to have a license.
I see.
So I'm going with that.
so
Right.
they probably need a license for safety reasons.
Yeah, amongst other things. There's also, the boats need a permit if they're fishing around the preserved area in Isla Caribe Island, which is Boca Chica and then 45 miles out to sea. That's where I got a nice marlin a couple of years ago. So,
Oh, nice.
so, yeah, a lot of
But you're
fun.
not allowed to get it.
How heavy are
You threw it back in, right?
We released it. I never took it out of the water,
right?
and we released it after I got my hand on the bill and
Got
so
the hook
form
out
of
of its
catch.
mouth.
Exactly. This one was 300 pounds. There are blue and black marlin out there that will exceed 1,000 pounds. There are yellowfin tuna that will exceed 300. 200 is huge. 300 is a cow, as they call it, and that's not an offensive term. I mean, it's just what they use to describe it. There's also fish out there, wahoo, which is another aquatic torpedo. I have not caught one yet. I keep looking forward to it. There's rooster fish. There's various snappers. There's fun things out
Are
there.
there any fish here that follow the fishing boats and try and catch the fish that's already been caught?
It's in Well, let me rephrase
I
that.
had that happen to me in Washington.
Yes, there's lingcod that love to do that. They call it hitchhiking.
Well, we actually had a sea lion that followed the boat, and every time we got a nice sized fish on the hook, all we would get is the head. The rest of the body went with the sea
Yes,
lion.
because the
That's
fur
pretty
ball eats it. Yes.
Yes.
We don't have lingcod down here, but there are times when you will have a fish on and it's struggling, it's doing something different and looking wounded, and a bigger fish looks up there and thinks, that looks pretty good, and he'll grab it. So you can very conceivably catch a larger fish on a smaller fish that you've caught.
Wow. Oh, so you get both of them.
You
then.
can.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
always a pleasant surprise, I imagine.
I've had that happen once, not here, but yeah, it's definitely a thrill.
Kind of like getting a hole in one.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
lucky. It's gotta be lucky.
Yeah, I get a bite, I'm reeling this thing in, and all of a sudden the rod just doubled over, because the bigger fish grabbed it, and in doing so, he knocked the smaller fish up the line. It was a little rockfish, and a
Uh-huh.
lingcod tried to get him and got hooked himself, so I got them both in. Yeah,
Wow. Very cool.
very fun.
So fishing, Boca Chica is a good place to go.
Boca Chica's a good place. You can go
And
down
that's
there.
a little closer than
Tennessee.
Tennessee is.
Boca Chica's 90 minutes from here.
Right.
It's a great road on the Inter-American Highway. Then you turn south and go to Boca Chica, and it's Pothole City. So allow a half an hour from the highway to get to Boca Chica. It's only
Which is only
12
like
miles.
50,
It's like what,
50
Flat House?
feet.
Yeah.
You can go, you can pay $1,600, $1,700, $1,800 and go out to the big islands and go for marlin and giant tuna. You can pay a guy $40 an hour out of a panga and cruise around the closer islands, Isla Seca, Isla Bolaño, Isla Paritas, I think. And all those, there's good fishing around all of them.
Is there a limit to the number of fish you can catch?
There's a saying, don't kill your limit, limit your kill. So basically, I don't think there's any limit in Panama that I'm aware of, other than the 0 kill on the marlin.
Mm-hmm.
But realistically, you shouldn't take more than you can eat or your friends. You know, when I go fishing, I catch and I give to my friends, even friends who ask for it.
The ones that say, please, please, Mike, please.
But you know, a lot of times you might catch a whole bunch of fish, and like I can only use 3 or 4, so the rest go back. And that's one of the good things about fishing. Yes, the fish does get a hole in his mouth. He gets a canker sore. It goes away in a couple of days. But the fish gets to live, gets to be caught by somebody else. You know, the whole thing, you know, cycles that way. Even fish where the line breaks off, studies have shown that what typically happens is that the flesh around the hook will deteriorate. The hook falls out in a few days, and then the flesh heals back up. So it's not like he's running around like the sharks in Finding Nemo, where they've got a hook in their nose for the rest of their life. No, it's not that way. It's not that way. But
That's
yeah,
good.
basically, you want to limit what you kill.
Yeah, there's no reason to take 100 fish out of the ocean if you're not going to eat 100 fish,
Exactly.
and no one's got a freezer big enough for them anyway.
Exactly. Yeah.
My dad used to bring the fish home from Lake Michigan. I hate bringing this up, but I hope you don't mind. But he'd bring back these trout and he'd stick them immediately in the freezer, and they were still basically alive when they went in the freezer, right? So my brother and I, my dad would go to sleep early. My brother and I would get the fish out of the freezer, fill the bathtub over. My dad would get up the next morning to go take a shower, and there'd be fish swimming in the bathtub. He didn't like us when we did that very much. He wasn't really happy.
But you were worried about them. You
Imagine
wanted them to
that.
live on.
That's exactly,
Of course.
No, that does make them fresher when you eat them.
I mean, it is, and Lake Michigan, of course, is freshwater, so it's a freshwater fish, and
Mhm.
bathtub water was just fine for them.
Yeah.
Although I think there was a little chlorine in that water, but oh well, their teeth stayed white.
Yeah. Are you doing anything with bigger mammals or anything in Panama right now?
No, not really, other than people. No,
Yeah, but we're not part of the protected species,
no, that's true. Well, I have talked to
although we should be.
what's her name, Dorothy at Hungwa Wildlife Rescue Place.
Right.
I'm going to try and work with her. I'm going to the States in a few weeks. I'll come back in October, and I'm going to try to work with her afterward to help her improve her facilities. And for anyone who's interested, she is looking for volunteers who can either help feed the 45 animals she's got.
Is she up to 45
I
animals
think
now?
she's now a lot of dogs and cats, but
Oh, because
Yeah.
she's only got like 3 monkeys, I think.
yeah, she's got a few monkeys, some owls, a couple of raccoons, things like
Is
that.
she a licensed facility? Do you know?
That I don't know the answer to.
Huh.
But I'm still willing to help her out. So
Yeah, of course.
Well, that would be great.
Animals
she
are
must be,
animals.
because she told me she gets inspected frequently, at least once annually, if not more. So I suspect that she is.
Yeah.
But that's a volunteer opportunity for someone if they want to do that. And of course the dog camp thing this weekend. But wild mammals, no, I'm not really doing much.
So how long have you actually lived in Boca in Panama?
Full time since roughly November 22nd of last year.
So it's almost a little
About
less than a year.
right.
And you are involved in so many things. How did you do that? And
Why?
why did you do that?
Yeah, I realize I'm stretching myself thin, and I forget that word no. But,
That's how we all started out here, We did.
but well, I got involved with the BCP and the music shows,
Right.
Because somebody saw me goof around doing karaoke and said, "Hey, you should come to this." So I sang Cheeseburger in Paradise and did part of the YMCA routine in the first show.
Right.
Did a few more songs next time. And then this last show, the Good Time in Music review that was a couple of weeks ago, I think they realized I can't sing or dance. So they said, well, we'll put you to work producing. So I did that. And that was fun. I also designed all of the signs and other set decorations there.
And I heard amazing things about your work.
Well, thank you. I appreciate
From
that.
Tap, tap.
Thank you. Mike Schwartz says if it's cardboard, I can make it into something. But I can make anything out of cardboard or foam board in this case. But,
Okay.
but yeah, that was a lot of fun, and it's just you get to where your reputation. I'm very flattered that I've been asked to help out say with your show, the play that you're talking about doing, and a couple of other things. And with the dog camp thing, my friend Dave Stefanelli was doing some stuff, and she heard there was fishing, so she said, "Mike, you should go look at this and volunteer to help out." So okay, I did that. And,
Right.
but yeah, it's I'm getting around doing a lot of stuff, and it's the one thing I want to do. There's I cannot remember the name of it, but it's the I want to say Handicap Foundation. It's across from
Yes.
Chopsticks.
It is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And what's the woman's name there? Who's
Penny?
Penny, yeah.
Yeah.
I talked to her about volunteering to help do some construction work and things like that. But
Oh, they desperately need it
Oh,
too.
that would be so great.
so that'll have to do after I talked in the past. I just haven't re-hooked up with her. But
I think they're there almost every Saturday, aren't they?
Yeah, they
Probably
have
so,
a
yeah.
morning
morning
breakfast
breakfast.
thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but she had a family that needed a bathroom,
Mhm.
basically
Right.
created, and I had talked.
I
about
imagine they
that,
need
but
ramps here and there and
probably so. Yeah.
some other things. Yeah.
I will say one thing I've learned over my life is that if you have a little bit of skill, a little bit of confidence, and YouTube, you can do anything. This is going to come across as bragging. I don't mean to, but I had a fixer house in Michigan, in Jackson, Michigan, that the city condemned the garage right after I bought the darn thing, and they said, "We'll tear it down and charge you $8,000, or you can do it for us." So I flew back there after studying YouTube. I got permits. I contacted the local Menards, and they basically put a kit garage together for me. I tore the garage down completely in one day and built a new garage by myself in 7.
Wow.
But that's because I have a little bit of skill, I have a little bit of confidence, and a lot of YouTube. So
Yeah.
And also the W word, willingness,
Well, yeah.
which is so, that sort of trumps everything for me. If somebody's willing, I'm in.
yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
willing to pay somebody else to do something like
Yeah, I
that.
remember the first time I started taking parts out of computers and replacing them, and I'm
Oh.
like, oh yeah, well okay, and I'm like, don't shake because this is real small. In fact, in those days, computers were built so that you needed the hand of the size of 3-year-olds to get in between things, and I was cutting my hands like on sharp parts inside the computers, but I was taking RAM out and other things and putting other parts in and
That's cool.
motherboards and whatnot, and it was all learned online.
Exactly. Oh, by the way, I do want to say, I want to give a shout out to my wife, Jerry Siegel, and my friend Sarah Crocker, who helped me with the red, white, and blue buntings on the last show.
You can give those two a shout out anytime.
Okay.
Two terrific women.
Yeah, I said I created everything. No, I didn't think, we spent an afternoon at Sarah's house. I was ironing and they were sewing, and we got these things done. And
You were
It's
ironing.
a beautiful team.
I know how to do that. believe it or not.
Wow.
I have sewed, I have made clothes. I can cook, I can grill.
Wow. I
I
said you're,
Your
interesting and
wife's a
entertaining.
lucky woman.
so is her husband.
Oh.
So,
You guys just had an anniversary not too long
yes, we
ago.
did. 9 days ago, 33 years.
Wow,
Woo.
nice.
Yeah, she's the
Congratulations.
jewel in my life. I'm the curse in hers. So,
Yeah,
Hopefully everyone's laughing along with us.
it's funny. I used to refer to my first husband as the curse that came along with the stone.
there we go.
And that was while we were married.
We haven't gotten there yet, I hope.
No. I know she adores you, and I know you adore her, and she's a super woman, and you're a super guy. So it's a
Thank you.
nice combination there.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Do you think you'll do anything more environmentally as far as you are involved with fishing and things like that? Do you think you'll do anything more environmentally in the area?
Well, I will always look for things that I can, that I can do to help out. So larger mammals are not an area of my expertise. I mean, I'm a fisheries biologist by training, fisheries and wildlife by let me back up. Fisheries by education, fisheries and wildlife by profession.
Mhm.
My time with State Fish and Game in California as a fisheries biologist. Then I went to a private firm of fisheries and wildlife. I'm also an erosion control specialist. That's what I got my master's degree in. So I can help out in things like that. And I'm more than happy to help anybody here who has questions about snakes or erosion or critters, that kind of stuff. If opportunities come up, I'll jump on them. Yeah, absolutely. So that's one of the reasons I was talking about Dorothy at
Mhm.
Hungla, because I just would like to help her make her facility a little better.
We have so much wonderful knowledge that we all
Thank you.
are glad to have.
Talking about snakes for a second.
Yes, ma'am.
So you have stated, and I think it needs to be reiterated as many times as possible, that you can't really identify a coral snake by red touches yellow or whatever the saying is.
Yeah, there are a few things I would like to say about venomous snakes here. There's a saying, red touch yellow, kill a fellow, red touch black, friend to Jack.
Mhm.
That only applies in certain parts of the United States. It does not apply in Central America.
Hmm.
I want to say it's the Panama
Could you
pygmy.
repeat that? Because everybody lives by that here.
Right, that's
Okay.
like the prayer.
Do not go by red touch yellow, kill a fellow. That does not work. There's also in Spanish, it's rana, red amarillo, negro amarillo. That's the same saying. It does not work. Panama pygmy coral snake, I think, which you do have in this area, red touches black. There are some coral snakes where yellow touches black and red doesn't bother to show up. It's still a venomous snake. So the only way you can positively identify a venomous snake is to know exactly what you're looking at and be familiar with the species. I made a couple notes here just for me to refer to, but
So as I'm concerned, no snake is my best friend, and I want to stay away from them.
actually snakes are your best friend because
they're-
they reduce the rodent
Right,
population.
but I don't need them in my house,
You
and I
don't-
don't want to go up and go close to it and say, "Oh, what are you?"
You do.
I just want to leave it alone, let it go its way, and I'll go my way, and we don't have to be close friends.
You don't need to buddy up to them.
No,
Exactly.
I
So-
won't sleep with a boa.
No, I don't do that either. I like snakes.
There was a story about a woman who
But
slept
with
with
the
her boa.
Bushmaster. Mhm.
No, we don't. Well,
Really, Barbara?
the thing about that red touch yellow for ace two is not only can it get you, dying from a coral snake bite is uncommon. They are venomous. It's a neurotoxic venom. They can kill you, but they have small mouths and small teeth. It's hard for them to bite, but it still can kill you. It can also get a harmless snake killed because people think, oh, red, yellow must be poisonous, and they kill it without thinking.
Right.
So that's harmful to them. There's a couple of other things that people think makes it easy to identify a venomous snake, which are untrue. But the shape of the head, many people say triangular head, it's a venomous snake. There are a lot of snakes that have round heads that will flatten out their heads to make it triangular when they're defending themselves. It's a way that they make you think, oh my God, I'm big and bad and I'm going to kill you, so you stay away. So that triangular head is not a true shape. Coral snakes and sea snakes, for example, both have sea snakes have fantastic toxic venom, and there's no antidote for the yellow belly sea snake. They have longer.
Do we have
rounder
those in
head.
Mopete?
No, sea
Oh,
snake.
good.
They have those in the ocean.
Okay.
So, but again, it's that they don't have a triangular head, but they're venomous. A lot of snakes will think you'll hear a rattle. Well, a lot of snakes will vibrate their tail trying to shake leaves and things so that it sounds like a rattlesnake to make you think that, again,
Do we have
he's big
actual
and bad.
rattlesnakes here?
Not in Panama. We actually have rattlesnake, neotropical rattlesnake, which is a gorgeous, beautiful snake. But it's in Costa Rica and north. We don't have them in Panama.
Uh-huh.
But again, the other snakes know that if they rattle their tail, you may be afraid of them and leave them alone. There are a lot of people who think that only venomous snake have elliptical pupils,
Mhm.
which is not true. There are some snakes that have elliptical pupils that are non-venomous, and there are some venomous snakes that have round pupils. Cobras come to mind, as an example of that, which we don't have in Panama. But every snake has a round pupil at night, just like our pupils expand. They do the same thing. So you can't judge whether it's a venomous snake by any of those characteristics, and doing so will probably put you or the snake in danger. The best way to react if you find a snake that you don't know what it is, take 3 steps backward and admire it from a distance.
Definitely.
Take a picture, send it. There's a group on Facebook, Snake Identification Costa Rica, send it to me. We'll find out what kind of snake it is. Usually you can hand an answer within 4 to 6 minutes.
Would you describe a fer-fer-fer-fertilance?
A fertilance.
What does it look like?
Okay. Their scientific name is Bothrops asper. They are, the more common name here is Terciopelo. They can get up to about 8 feet long. They are a thick-bodied snake, and the best way to remember them, the pattern on the side of the snake is a triangle with 2 dots at the base of each side of the triangle. So I'm going to try to do this with my hand because I did this yesterday.
Which nobody can see on the radio, but that's okay.
Let me set
You can do it up there,
You can see the triangle formed by my fingers,
right?
and you can see the line right across where my index fingers meet. So, and you can see the 2 dots formed by the circles by my
Are they
thumb.
that
Yeah.
big? They're big circles?
Well, they're distinctly identifiable.
And what color are they?
Black, tan, brown. They
Oh my
are.
gosh, that
fan-
was what was at my house.
Huh?
That was one at my
No,
house.
no, you don't know that because a common cat-eyed snake is black, tan, and brown. Some boa constrictors are black, tan, and brown.
But
So
would they have the triangle?
They wouldn't have that shape. I'll pull up a picture.
No, this
during
one had the
break so that
triangle.
I can show you.
This one had the triangle, and it was going away
It's
from
a
the
s-
house.
Okay, it's a series along the entire side.
Right.
You'll see that triangle,
Yeah.
dot, dot, triangle,
Yeah.
dot, dot.
Yeah.
That is a terciopelo or a fertilance.
Yeah.
Again, best advice, 3 steps back and leave them alone.
Oh, I went in the house and closed the door. It
That's
was
a
a
good 3
tree
steps.
going away from my house.
Yeah.
Now, I remember when we had you on last, and you talked about the idea of smaller snakes being more venomous, if they're venomous, than a larger snake. Does that also apply to scorpions?
I think that's younger versus older, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's typically, let me clarify on that.
Okay.
And I'll hit scorpions in a second.
Okay.
Younger snakes may have slightly more toxic venom, such as rattlesnakes, because of the type of prey that they eat that are larger than an older snake. Typically, rattlesnakes eat lizards as their primary food when they're young. Harder to kill a lizard than a mouse, be cold-blooded, that kind of thing. So he needs a little more venom, powerful venom to kill it faster, so he doesn't have to waste energy chasing it down. As they get larger, the toxicity of the venom may decrease slightly, not a whole lot. But I'll tell you, in a heartbeat, I think it's better to get bitten by a younger snake than a larger snake, because that smaller snake, even if he gives you a full dose of what he's got, can't give you that much. But a 5-foot-long terciopelo versus a 2-foot or a 1-foot-long terciopelo, a 5-footer can inject a boatload. So the more venom is much worse in this particular case.
And I want to hear about the scorpion, but I want to ask you a question about getting bitten. If someone does get bitten here, what is the procedure?
The procedure is, and I'm not a
Call your
doctor.
family and say goodbye.
No, that's not true. So few people actually die of snake bite. Lots worldwide, but a lot of people are in areas where they don't have access to medical care. So I'm going to qualify this by saying I'm not a doctor, I'm not a lawyer, I don't bring it on TV or the radio, but my understanding, what I've learned with a snake bite, the best thing is to stay calm, keep the bitten area lower than the level of your heart. So if you're bitten on the hand or the leg, make sure you're keeping that lower than your heart. Do not put on a tourniquet. That will cause you to lose the limb because it concentrates the venom down there. Do not put on a constriction band. Don't ice it. Just get to a hospital. If you can take a picture of the snake or somebody can, do that. Don't kill the snake because you're likely just to get bitten again. Okay, but stay calm. Keep the bitten area lower than the heart and get to a hospital. There's this internet baloney that's going out that, take Benadryl and that'll help. That is false. There's a couple of websites. I'm trying to remember one, but I can't off the top of my head. But anyway, Benadryl works good on a mosquito bite or on a bee sting because the venom from the sting actually impacts histamines that are in your blood that causes the itching, the swelling. The Benadryl affects that. Venom from a snake bite destroys tissue, destroys the cells. Your cells burst and basically bleed out. The Benadryl will not do anything for that. So Benadryl is not a treatment for snake bite. It's not even a temporary thing. Best advice, stay calm. Affected portion lower than your heart, get to a hospital now.
Is it a hospital locally or a hospital in David?
Well, hospital in David would be fine. I
There
understand.
isn't one locally.
Well, that's
But we
the
have
closest we have. We have clinics. Yeah, I
Yeah.
get to the hospital.
The polyclinic, though, I think right now is not open past like 3 or 4 in the afternoon.
know.
It's going to be open till 11 o'clock at night soon, and I think coming this next year will be 24/7.
I would get to the hospital. And the other thing about that is if you're bitten by anything other than a coral snake, the antivenom is pretty much the same. So it doesn't matter if it's a fer-de-lance, if it's a jumping viper, if it's an eyelash viper, if it's a, nasty whatever. The venom is pretty much the same, and it's used. The antivenom is the same, and it's used to treat all the snake bites.
So what happens if you get bit by a snake and you can't get a picture of it, and
Go to
you
the
don't
hospital.
know whether it's a poisonous snake or not?
Go-
Will the antivenom hurt you?
Typically not. There are some cases of allergies, but you'll get a test for that at the hospital. And if you have a bite, if it's a bite from a pit viper, which means a fer-de-lance, an eyelash viper, something like that, you'll know right away it's going to start burning. The affected area will likely start to swell up, and you'll feel pain in the area and radiating. Let's say if you're bit on the leg, radiating upward, or if you're bit on the hand, radiating up toward your arm, but you'll feel that burning sensation. If it's non-venomous, I got bitten by a little green vine snake a couple weeks ago that I moved off the road. I know he wasn't venomous. I wasn't afraid to move him. If he's non-venomous, you'll get a pinprick. That's it. But if you're hit by a pit viper, you'll likely see couple of fang holes, and you will feel burning. My friend messing around in California, one of my coworkers, picked up a juvenile rattlesnake and was careless with it, and his finger bounced off the top of his head, and it hooked him with one fang, and he didn't think much of it. And then 1 minute later, he said, "Let's go to the hospital," because it was starting to burn, and that's kind of the common feeling you'll have.
So you'll know it.
You should know it, yeah.
So now back to the scorpions that do burn as well. When I asked the question about the scorpions, I was thinking that you had originally said that the smaller snakes had more venom because they had to take care of themselves because they were small in the environment, but that is not the case.
They have more potent. Many species of snakes, the younger snakes have more potent venom.
What
Not
about
all.
the scorpions? What about a baby scorpion? Because I got bit by one and it was surprisingly painful.
You mean you got stung by one?
I got stung by one.
So, I'm not an expert on snakes, actually even on snakes. I'm not an expert like some of the people I know, but especially not on spiders or scorpions. But I believe that scorpions, the venom toxicity is about the same between smaller and larger.
He was so little. He was such a little baby.
I had heard that the
Beavers.
smaller ones don't have control of how much venom they release, and so they release all of it.
That's not true.
It's not
No,
just a rumor.
no. Yeah.
And they don't die after they sting.
Well, okay, what Cynthia just said was about snakes.
Oh,
And the smaller snakes, smaller scorpions, they do know how to regulate. And
Okay.
smaller snakes continually reproduce venom. So it's not a big thing if they dump in a big load. Scorpions, snakes, they do know how to regulate. And so it's not like they're going to give you a big shot at one time. And I'm sorry, Barbara, I forgot your question.
I just wanted to know because I got bitten by the tiniest scorpion and it was on a hunk of moss that I was putting in my greenhouse and I saw him there. And before I knew it, he had stung me.
Right.
Does he die?
No.
Okay.
No. Bees die because the stinger pulls out.
Right.
And because the stinger is barbed and it
Yes.
sticks into your flesh and it pulls out, and that is a serious injury that kills them. Wasps, yellow jackets, can sting repeatedly without dying. Same thing with the scorpions. Yeah, because if the scorpion died after stinging, you have no scorpions. They have to sting to kill their prey.
Right,
The bee stings to defend.
right.
By the way, if you've ever seen this graphic, I saw this once. It's a picture of a little a honeybee, and it says, "This is a honeybee." And then there's a picture of a bumblebee. It says, "This is a bumblebee." And then there's a picture of Yellow Jacket, and it says, "This is an a-hole with wings."
I saw that, yes.
Let's get off these creepy, crawly, nasty little animals for a while, and let's talk about a few other things we have coming up this next week or so.
Okay. I'm looking at the fundraising dinner, which funds will go to support the Boquete Garden City. It's a mayor's office project. The flowers for the town square, as you probably noticed, the town square has weed blocks sort of covering it, so we don't know what's really going on in there. But on September 18th from 5 to 9 at Boulder 54, the mayor and his wife will be present, and we will have a large dinner with a donation of $18, and all the money will go to putting new flowers into the central square. The menu is grilled chicken, stewed beef ribs, and vegan dishes. Delicious as usual, Chris. Good job.
Yeah.
So please make your reservations and get there for September 18th, next Wednesday. And of course, our regular recycling, which is coming up September at the fairgrounds. We've already gone through September 10th. Have we gone through September 10th? No, that's tomorrow.
That's tomorrow.
And then this coming Sunday, the 15th, from 7 to 1. And the following Tuesday, the 24th, from 8 to noon. And tomorrow will also be 8 to noon, right at the ferry at Gate 6.
Gate 6. And, they take, for a while they weren't taking colored bottles, but they are taking colored bottles again. So
Oh,
bring all your bottles, bring, all your plastics. I think it's 1 through 5 or 6 or 7, whatever. Bring them there. And if they don't take it, they'll let you know, but bring it and do them a favor. Wash things out before you bring it. There's nothing worse than having to deal with other people's unwashed plastic and glass. So do everyone a favor, rinse it out and take it there and sort it kind of if you can before you get there.
and if
Does
you
that
need
help?
lessons, contact Murray Altman. He's the exceptionally exceptional recycler. And he's very intensely anal about making sure everything is perfect.
Well, good. That's the way it should be. Again, Basura Busters was out this last Sunday, as they are every Sunday, and they do this phenomenal job getting Boquete cleaner and prettier. And you just mentioned this dinner at Boulder 54 for collecting money for flowers, and I think that the mayor's office I think this is one of his projects that his wife is highly involved in, beautifying the city. And right now I noticed that they're building a little wall as you go up the hill from Boquete. They're on the side of the road, they're building a little wall, and I think that's going to be planted
I
pretty
do
soon.
too. It's gonna be
I'm
a planter.
hoping that all these empty big round cement cylinders that are on the side of the road, some of them have palms still in them, palm trees in it.
Yeah, they
Some
need
of
to be
them, they need
refurbished.
to be put back where they belong because they were pushed over during construction on the roads. They need to be refurnished, and I'm really happy to hear that the bridge, the one that goes by the BCP, the first bridge, that they were replanting the flower boxes in there because
Nice.
I walked there like 2 weeks ago and I was thinking, oh, it's a shame you have all these beautiful flower boxes here built in and ready for plants and nothing in it. So I understand that flowers have been donated for that
Oh,
already
nice.
too.
And we've planted in there on numerous occasions over the years, and they just get unplanted. So hopefully this time they'll stay a little longer.
and whoever has been grabbing the plants that get planted out to take home to their own garden or resell, please stop doing that. It's just not a nice thing. I
Don't
mean,
look at me.
I'm not looking at you. You wouldn't do it. But I know there was a notice the other day that they had planted a bunch of flowers by the municipal building, and overnight some of them disappeared. So I'm not.
Nothing is sacred.
Yeah. How are we doing for time, Mr. Bolivia?
So
Oh,
We talked
well,
for a
hey.
full hour without
Oh,
breathing.
wow.
Well, in that case, can I very quickly say thank you for tuning in to On the Air with Cynthia and Barbara on Radio Cherokee 103.3. Ciento Tres Punto Tres. Thank you, Bolivia, for being our
Thank you,
wonderful
Bolivia.
engineer. Thank you,
Thank
Mike
you, Mike.
Hill, for being our guest today.
Thank you for
Thank
having me.
you.
Thank you to our sponsors, The Rock and Morton's Bakehouse. Don't forget to listen to Al Stefanelli's broadcast on Fridays from 10 to 11 and Mike Weber's wonderful Strange View music show on Fridays from 2 and rebroadcast on Mondays like today at 2. And as always, remember to recycle, repurpose, bend down, pick it up, keep moving, and stay healthy. Thank you for listening to On the Air with Cynthia and Barbara. Bye, everyone. And I know we're still recording up there, so
So
as
plug
soon
your
as he
ears.
takes it off, we'll know.
If it ain't yours, you can still pick it up.
Radio Chiriquí 103.3.
Las noticias falsas a través de las redes sociales son hoy una verdadera epidemia. Ponen en peligro la democracia moderna y la seguridad pública. Un estudio reveló que el